This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Stuff went numb that shouldn't go numb, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what is going on?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
And co-host Marney Winfield.
It was kind of an awkward thing. He's like, would you guys want to come along? Can you get away to come to the island? I'm like, yeah, we just got back from there.
It is the 26th of August, 2022. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marney Winfield.
Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast. It's actually 6:40 in the AM.
Drinking some coffee.
Yeah, we're going to do the podcast last night, but I fell asleep.
Yep.
Took another sick day. And today is my day to tell the story of how we met.
It is.
The last episode, you had the floor. Mm-hmm. It was you telling the story of how we met. We're going to get into a little bit more detail about after we made that connection and some of the challenges we faced early on tomorrow before our draft, or maybe after our draft. Tomorrow's draft day for the 217 Sober League fantasy football. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good about it.
You got second pick.
I know. I'm not a big fan of that.
No.
But, you know, I'm gonna make it my own. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people are taking in fantasy football. We'll just do real quick on this. Jonathan Taylor first. And sometimes they'll mix it up with Christian McCaffrey, whose last two seasons, if you've had him on your fantasy team, you want to throw him out the window because injuries have plagued that man. So taking him number 2 can be risky, but you have a whole different strategy. Some people are, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Cooper Kupp had a great year last year. Mm-hmm. But is he going to have the same year this year? History says no. So
kind of like a horse race.
Yeah. So
you never know who's going to step up.
If there's a player at number 2 that you really like, you might as well get him. Mm-hmm. And if he's a number 1 at his position, I wouldn't take a kicker with the number 2 pick, even if he's the best kicker in the league. That wouldn't make sense. But if you're looking wide receiver, we have a cat battle going on outside the studio, which is always fun. But yeah, so your strategy should pay out or pay off for you. But we'll do a podcast after the draft tomorrow.
Okay.
We don't want to.
We gotta stay focused.
Yeah, we don't want to lose focus of what we got going on first. But yeah, so today is the story. Tomorrow too, we're going to do another Celebrity of the Week. Mm-hmm. Last week, I was sitting in the hotel. We were down for my aunt's funeral downstate, and I was just like, we should do like Sober Celebrity of the Week, and.
Well, how it started was I was watching a rerun of Roseanne, and I'm always get curious about, because just people's attitudes and like being in Hollywood and how they portray themselves and, their shows or movies. It always sparks my curiosity. Like, how does this person like handle their personal life? And I'm not worried about like the, like details, but of course, person being in recovery, you're always like, I wonder, how, like, what their thoughts are on the party life that is so prevalent, in Hollywood. And so I look into it and I was like, John Goodman, he's been sober for a minute, and he plays a lot of roles, not that super recently. I think what sparked that was from that movie, The Flight, when he was like a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm just curious, like, that was so easy for him to do that role. There's got to be some sort of background here.
Yeah, I'm sure he knew a few people like that in his day, but I can't remember the exact. It's like 2016 is when he got sober, 2012, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because for a lot of people, like myself, when we run out of money is when we kind of go, okay, I guess I'll get some help now. But having access to money and then having people around you that are just like, oh, no, dude, you're good. Mm-hmm. Because they want to still be around you to use you for money. So they're not going to tell you have a problem. They're just going to do whatever they can to kind of pick up the crumbs along the way. So maybe you don't notice how bad it is. But that would be a different challenge than what I faced. But yeah, so John Goodman, and we posted it on social media. And then Monday, I think it was Monday morning, you sent me a screenshot of this website called Sober Fun or something.
I can't remember
the name of the website, but this is how far they went with it. Like, if you see something cool, like if I see something cool that another recovery organization posts, I share it. I don't go out of my way to create more work and more time for myself to remove all of the stuff because it says 217 recoveries, sober celebrity of the week, John Goodman. They like erase that, and which was really crazy, and which could get them in trouble. They actually put their own watermark on it. Mm-hmm. So after they steal it from 217 recovery, instead of just sharing it, hey, this is pretty cool, I'm gonna share it. They make their own. Hey, celebrity of the week, and so I banned them from 217 recovery. So if you follow their little clean sober site or whatever it is,
you didn't have to go that far.
Well, their fans aren't going to get the celebrity this week because they have nothing to steal. And I even posted on them like, hey, if you guys just want me to make you one, it'd probably be a little easier for you. To keep stealing it from us.
It kind of like rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, and just the fact that they went out of their way to make sure we didn't get any credit for it, but yet they stole it.
Yeah, it's not about. It was just like, wait a second,
you're not in recovery, people.
I was like, I know this post.
Like, people in recovery don't do that, man. Well, I guess they do, and that just goes to show you, not everybody in recovery is at the same level. Well,
I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they didn't really think of it that way. I don't know.
Sorry, I almost spit my coffee out all over the board. What do you mean they didn't think about that? That's exactly what they thought about. Because they're like, we got to get rid of this 217 thing. Yeah. And then there's a reason why I did not put a watermark on it, and I'll explain that to you if you don't ever want to get sued. The picture of John Goodman, we do not own.
Right.
Okay. There's somebody who actually took a picture of that who gets paid for that picture.
Yeah.
Since we're a nonprofit organization and since we're educational, and we had a line from his Wikipedia, which technically is, you could put anything on there really if you wanted, but for the most part, that's supposed to be kind of educational, and that's where we could get away with that, and we're not making any money off of it.
Right.
And we don't claim to own that picture.
Right.
Now, they could tell us to take it down, and I'd be like, okay, we would. Mm-hmm. But these people putting their own watermark on it, like it's their shit, that is when they could run into huge trouble with that. Just that picture of John Goodman alone. And I didn't want to explain that to him. I wanted to actually call John Goodman's lawyer and be like, you might want to look at this one.
Honey,
I didn't go that far with it. I have other shit to do. But just saying, tomorrow we'll have another one, and you won't see it on Sober's Fun or whatever the hell their web page was. They could have at least gave us some credit. But yeah, no, honey, they went out of their way to make sure we didn't get credit instead of just sharing it.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. You rock. Your recovery's solid. So, I've been thinking about this. How we met.
Okay, ready?
When Corey met Marney. All right. So, 2019, I go to treatment in January. I get out in March. And if I go to Sober Living, which of course you can actually go back and listen to our podcast and kind of tell who I'm talking about and when I'm talking about her. But I started the podcast in April and kind of went from there. And then Sober Living, I was managing a Sober Living house, and that's September, October, because I got the job at the treatment center in September. And that is when I met Marney. And I didn't want to work at that treatment center. That's the treatment center I had went to, but I was working this pretty awesome job, and I recommend it to guys all the time and to females, to people. When you get out of treatment, don't run out and try to be the CEO of a company. Start your own. Start your own that way. That way you can automatically be that. But don't go out and get a job and try to kill yourself. Like, get a job that you can do. You're not in charge of really much. You're just kind of showing up and doing your thing, because it's important early on to focus on your recovery. The job I had at the time, it was seasonal, but it was cool. It was something that I didn't need to think a lot. It's something I knew I wasn't going to do for the rest of my life. There was no expectations of me to want to be there forever. It was just like a really cool, fun job that I had for a minute. And so I was going back to school too that fall. But I needed some kind of job, and the treatment center place called me, and one of the guys did. He was like, hey, I really want you to come work here, and like what you're doing with 217 and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. Met with him, and I thought, because I really liked that guy. And I thought, man, you know what? If he's going to be my boss, this could work out. So I get hired, And then he leaves and gets another position like that same day. And I'm like, what the F? But anyway, I was there to help people because that helps me. And that was kind of the bottom line of what I wanted to do. And I remember seeing this dark hair woman, skinny and real serious. And people are like, oh yeah, Marney, she don't play around. That's Marney. She don't play around, you know, like she's here for real. And because you saw those people in there that were just there to play games or to not really know why they're there, you know, and you seemed super focused. And I was never in a group that you were in, you know, I was just a tech. Like I wasn't your counselor or your therapist or anything like that. I just made sure you didn't smoke over there, made sure you smoked over there, whatever. If you needed something, you know, I try to help you out. But like, I wasn't like in that role of like, I'm somebody that you spill your guts to. You know, I've never seen you in group, but you could just tell that you were kind of serious and focused about it. And then I think there was a time where you asked me to play cards or something, or maybe you were playing cards and I don't know, but we started playing rummy and I started beating you really bad. Like every hand I'd beat you. And I think I let you win one or two. I don't remember. But we had fun and it was like kind of competitive and yeah, we would talk when we were playing. And I know you showed me a video of your sister singing songs and I was like, what is going on with this? Like, that's not even in English. Like, what is this woman doing here? You know, is what I was thinking. Like, sounds like she has a pretty good, nice, cool family, you know, and I didn't know any of your backstory or nothing. And then I think it was getting close for you to leave. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we tell that story. Well, it kind of coincides because it was kind of getting time for you to leave. I would have a habit of setting my vape down in the treatment center, and I had set my vape down to go help out with some emergency or whatever. That's why I had set it down, and I was like, I don't have my vape. I'm gonna go get it. So I go back to get it, and my vape's gone. I thought, well, somebody stole my vape. That's not good. And come to find out, my future wife had stolen my vape and was holding it for ransom because she wanted her candy, because you can have candy at this place. And some candy you can't have all the time or whatever, and they keep it locked up for you. And you wanted some of that. You can't have candy. Not talking about the stuff that's, you know, sexual stuff. I'm talking about like real candy. So I had to make the trade because I had to get my vape back. So I thought, man, that sneaky person. But then I overheard you talking to somebody about where you were going after you got out of treatment. And people were talking about, oh, you're doing sober living, you're doing this, you're doing that. And you're like, no, my girlfriend and I are getting a place. And so then I thought, oh, okay, cool. You know, she has a girlfriend. A lot of women have girlfriends, you know. It's 2022. Okay, cool. Good for her. You know, I remember thinking, oh, okay, cool. Like I did. All right. Yeah, I could see that though. Yeah. Okay.
I could see that though.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you were gone. Poof. Gone. And went about my, you know, job, whatever, my life. And then I get a message, a friend request on Facebook from Marney. And I thought, oh, okay. Because they were like, in the job, they're like, you can't talk to these people for 5 years after they leave or something really ridiculous like that. But I was like, whatever, man. Like, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. You know, I'm a peer. And at that time, I think I had 9 months clean. You know, I wasn't that far away from being back at day one. So I thought, you know, and people had told me the same thing I had told you, you know, find the people that are doing good things and stick with them. So I'll friend people. And if they're not doing good things, usually they unfriend me. You know, or sometimes I get to 5,000 people and I have to go through and start kicking people off. But it is what it is. Anyway, then you send me a message. You're like, I like your pics. Super sexy or super cute or something like that. And then I reply back, yeah, I only post the good ones. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to post what I really look like. I just post the ones that I just happen to catch a good The camera just caught that magical moment where I looked all right. So a week or two goes by, and then I remember you came back to drop off or to donate some clothes to the treatment center, and you brought your father. And we were actually at a meeting off campus, and you brought the clothes there, and I met your dad. And I think that was the first time I thought, wow, like she's really, really pretty. Like you see somebody in treatment, they're not. Nobody's at their best in treatment, And when I actually got to see you, this was like, I guess the first time out in the real world, and I was just like, oh, okay. I thought, man, I was like, that'd be cool if she was closer to here. I remember thinking something like that. And I thought, well, I'll probably never see her again. But man, she was pretty. But I remember just there was some kind of feeling there. And I thought, it's weird. A month or so, maybe some weeks go by, and you send me a message. Marty sends me a message, and she says, hey, let's go. I think you told me again how cute I was, maybe dimples or something. I don't know. And that's why I said, I don't think your boyfriend would appreciate this, because at the time I'm thinking, who is this chick? Because I looked at your profile and you had a picture of you and some dude. It was like, this is love. And it said you were in a relationship on Facebook. And I thought, and then you're telling me something like cute, again, sexy, whatever. And I'm like, what is she doing? What kind of game is she trying to run here? Because I am not into that. I had made up my mind when I left treatment that I was not going to settle. That's something I did in the past. I'd settle relationships that I knew wouldn't work, that I knew were toxic. I'd be like, why not? Why not? I needed a friend once. I had excuse for all. I'd take the red flag and I'd just throw it away. Well, I made up my mind that I wasn't going to settle, and I was going to, if I saw red flags, I was going to acknowledge them. Because that's the only way I can prevent repeating the past. There's nothing you can do about those horrible relationships or those times where it didn't work out for you, but you saw the red flags, and you can see the red flags in the future ones, and you can avoid that happening again. That's all you can do. So I was like, wait a minute. This isn't how, no, what is she doing? And so I said, I don't think your boyfriend would appreciate you, saying that kind of thing or whatever. And you're like, I don't have a boyfriend. I was like, well, your Facebook says you do. And then you came with a 10-year excuse. Well, I haven't been on in 10 years. And that picture's old.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't interject. I promised myself I wouldn't. But I had no idea that was still on there. And I'm like, will you look at the date that was posted? And it was like 10 plus years ago. That's how often I use Facebook.
Yeah. So I gave you the benefit of the doubt on that. Because I'm like, yeah, what? Well, I mean, there are many chicks that would still not care and spit game like that. But I thought, well, take her word for it. And then you're like, we can go to a meeting or something, And that's when at first when I was like, no, like there's rules and we can't hang out, But my job at the treatment center, it was a treatment center that at first I didn't want to work there. But then when I did, I thought, man, I can really make a difference. And I really started feeling like a sense of purpose with that and helping other people. And because you go to groups and they're going to go through the same old stuff, but you want the day-to-day real life, what happens, what's going on. You can come talk to me about that. I'm not going to read a book to you. I'm going to tell you what experiences that happened to me and the things that I did to help myself get out of those. And that might not work for you, but it might. Something similar could work for you. But the treatment center, there was an incident there, and there was a big meeting, and the new CEO that took over came, and he's like, look, we're not trying to be the best facility in Michigan. We're trying to be the biggest. And then a bunch of other stuff was said that I did not agree with about, it's good when people relapse. They come back. And I'm like, I'm not working here. I'm not working here. I can't do it. And so I don't want to say subordinates, my drive, my will to work there went out the window, and so did any rule about, if you go to a meeting with somebody out of here, you're fired. I did not give a shit. So it's like, all right. And I think you'd hit me up right after that all had happened, and I had made up my mind that I can't work here no more. Like I don't like it. So yeah. And you hit me back. I think I did tell you no again at first, but then you threw it back in my face. Well, you said to hang out with the people that are doing good, and you're doing good stuff.
But I also did say that if it's going to jeopardize your job, I completely understand. That's
probably what made me go, yeah, you're right. Maybe that will get me fired. Let's do it.
Oh, God.
No, I was like, I don't care about that place. Like, let's go. And so we went on a meeting date. It turned out to be kind of a date. It was just going to be meeting and dinner, you know, and we went to dinner, and it was so magical. We went to dinner. Like, I'm just telling you, like, it was out of a movie. Like, we're walking up to this, like, it just starts snowing, and like we're walking up into this place, and they have like the street light, and like the snow is just fluttering down, big old snowflakes, and you look gorgeous. And it's funny because I picked you up from like your therapy appointment.
That's so like friend. I'm like, we are in friend zone. He's picking me up from my therapy appointment.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry this girl.
I ain't had nothing.
She gonna get fixed. Yeah, and then I brought you like I'm thinking like a Milky Way and a energy drink, because they weren't allowed to have those kind of things. No chocolate, nothing like that. No energy drinks while they're in treatment. So it was kind of a joke, because everybody, when I would take people to the store, like they made me drive this bus to the store and have to go in there and watch people, you know, make sure they weren't doing dumb stuff. And like that was the thing. You couldn't buy chocolate or energy drinks, and everybody was always trying, and somebody was always trying to sneak something. And sometimes we knew about it and just thought, whatever, man. Like, they're here to get better. They can eat chocolate, you know, like. And some would say, yeah, but it's that mentality. And I'm like, but the real problem is they shouldn't smoke meth anymore. You know, they shouldn't be shooting up drugs. You know, they shouldn't be drinking. That's the real problem. So I wasn't trying to get too carried away with that, you know. But so, yeah, I brought you that. We go to dinner. We went to the meeting first, I think, didn't we? Because we drove out to like someplace I've never been before. We've never been back either. Leelanau or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was the second. I can't remember. But I just remember dinner. I had a hamburger, and I was like, oh, my God, I look so fat, and I'm nasty, and this beautiful woman across from me. And it was so beautiful walking in there. Like, seriously, like, I just thought, like, this is out of a movie. Like, this, I don't know, it just felt special. It felt weird. And I don't know if it's just because I was sober. I've been sober so long, like, that I'm actually really getting to a real relationship. Maybe I don't even think I wasn't even thinking about relationship at that point. I just thought that something felt magical or special about it. I will acknowledge that. And then, as God would have it, that night it was the biggest snowstorm in the last 58 years in northern Michigan. And so I was afraid, because I had a little Ford Fusion. So we go back to your house, and it was really awkward for me to meet your mom, because it's like, oh, this is Corey from the treatment center. And like, the first thing I could think of people thinking is like, oh, okay, creep. So you're stalking people at the treatment centers. Okay, because there are people that do that. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't me. And so I was like, all right, well, hi. Yeah, I'm at the treatment center. I got this thing called 217 Recovery going on, and we got a podcast, and you can do some blogging, and I want to start a transportation thing where we help people get to and from treatment, to get to meetings, stuff like that. And your mom's like, okay. Just looking at me like, okay. But that's what I felt. I felt like that. I felt like, oh my God, like she probably thinks I'm just trash. And then the part of your house that you were staying in was kind of separated, you know, from the other. So it was kind of like your own place. And we go up there, and we were going to watch a movie, Aladdin, I believe it was, which I still to this day haven't seen. And you bust out the old VHS tape. Like, you love VHS tapes. Not sure what's going on with that. I mean, it's cute, I guess. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, you know, we can download that in 2 seconds off Apple or whatever. But something about them you love.
I have a VHS tape. Why would we download it?
Because it's better quality. It's remastered digitally. Anyway, so we started to watch that, but something happened and we didn't. But then it was like snowing so bad because it was the worst storm in the last 58 years in Northern Michigan. And then you were like, well, you can stay here if you want. And I was like, okay, but no tomfoolery. I was like, no, because I made up my mind. I was like, whatever happens, like, we're not doing the sex stuff, on day one, because that's
right.
But man, I was just feeling you a lot, and then those feelings were like crazy because then I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, I like this woman, but I think we should get into that stuff more Saturday.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Which usually the last 2 episodes, it'll be really Sunday. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we'll probably try to do a podcast tomorrow. Or we will do one. How about that? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's kind of how we met, and it just took off from there. And, I had you on the podcast early on, so that would have been either January, I think. Yeah, January.
We had been, I think, on a couple dates.
2020.
When I did the podcast. And I wasn't even, I wasn't on it, really. I was just... Like I just had a microphone for a brief moment.
Well, then you were on it.
Yeah, then I was on it.
You weren't like the co-host.
I started. It was before COVID, right?
Yeah.
When I started actually being, well, I wasn't official co-host until Tyrone did our open. Right. But no, I listened to him diligently. And yeah, there's so much. We make it sound so simple, but it was not. Mm-mm. It wasn't very simple at all.
No.
But it was definitely a God thing, all of it. And, obviously happy ending. So it's like, the stuff that we're going to talk about tomorrow, the ups and downs, that's just life, man. Mm. It's just life. And it's sometimes the decisions that you make are going to pave your future. That's what it is. And, really being in a sober spot, being in the right mind to like I say, to weigh the pros and cons and figure out what's what. And is this good for me? And is this good for my sobriety? Those are tough questions to ask. And if you're honest with yourself and then you move forward with it, then, you're not always right, but, don't rush things, anything. And so that's how we ended up here now.
Pretty much, kind of. I mean, we'll get to that. That how we got here now. I think that's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. So
you got a message from somebody, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm just sad and lonely. I need somebody." And you and Corey had each other, and it's like, well, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but no, like. There's nothing, again, I said that the other day, there's nothing I can do to keep you sober today except keep myself sober. That's the only thing I can control is what I do. Mm-hmm. That's it. I need somebody to be there. If I just had someone to come home to, no. Mm-hmm. that makes no sense. Like, it feels good to have someone to come home to, but if you're not good for yourself, if you're not doing good things, nobody's going to want to be around you. So, mm-hmm. Get yourself fixed, get yourself better, be somebody that somebody would want.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But it's simple.
And the thing is too, is, people, you can never be sober for someone else. You have to be sober for yourself. So when I ask myself, no, absolutely, I don't stay sober for my husband. I don't think anybody should do that. But one piece of it is I do stay sober knowing that if I do relapse, I could not have this relationship. I could not have this marriage. Marriages fall apart all the time. And so that is for me. That's for me and the things that I want in this world. I have to stay sober. So, I have to put my recovery first so everything that I love doesn't come last.
Not that I would divorce you if you relapsed.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but kind of the way it sounded, it was like, well, I can't have this marriage if I relapse. If I relapse, I'm just going to go off and walk the streets.
No. That wasn't where I was going.
Because yesterday I almost went to jail. You hear about this?
Okay.
It was awesome.
Let's just say that When you're trying to multitask at your job, and if you're someone like myself where your work phone has probably, I'm going to guess, 350 plus names in it, chances are you're going to have names that are like the same first names. Take the time to make sure you're sending a message to the right person.
Well, sometimes you can just send a message to your husband and ask him what time he's going to jail today, or what time he has to report to turn himself into jail, or what. I was like, oops. I was on the lamb.
I did not. That was not. I just said it. That was
not
intended for you.
I threw my cart down. I was walking with them little hand ones. I threw it up in the air and took off running out the door. I was like, they're on to me.
You know me well enough that you're just like,
gotta get out of here,
silly woman. You need to pay more attention.
I was like, no, I'm not going to jail. I don't feel like I don't remember
what if I would have sent a message to you to somebody else by accident?
You're going to eat my lasagna when I get home? Yeah. Messages are awesome. But no, yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. I was like, whoa. Yeah, that's a message that she had sent me. When are you going to jail or something? And I was like, what is she talking about? Like, I had to get a guy from jail yesterday, but I don't have to report to jail today. Yeah, and then I got to stop hitting basketballs too. Like, and then this is the serious. Like, I don't know if you've ever hit a basketball before with your vehicle.
He means run over a basketball, because I don't think you really can hit a basketball. It dribbles itself up into the underneath of your car.
Yeah, in the middle of a cornfield. I was in the middle of a cornfield.
No, it wasn't. It was the middle of a city.
It was on Naomi Road in Sodus, Michigan, in the middle of nowhere. There's fields everywhere, and all of a sudden I hear, "Watch out, honey!" Of course, I'm not driving with my glasses on, which allows me to see. And
it was
I'm like, what
neon
yellow
is that
a kid?
and
Is
black.
That a cat? Is that a
basketball.
dog? Oh, it was green and black. Anyway, by the time I see it, I'm like, oh. And of course, if you see something like that, you don't want to slam on the brakes. You don't want to whip the car to the right or to the left. And you just, hey, man, something happens, but at least you're not flipping your car over. So I hit it. And yeah, like you said, it's dribbling its way. And then it was kind of weird because I looked back in the back mirror, and when it kicked back out, it kicked right back out to him. I was like, those assholes. Like, in the middle of nowhere. Like, I wouldn't expect a basketball to come flying out of there. I was looking for deer,
Yeah.
But, like, no, not a basketball. Yeah, and it dribbled this way. So the next day we're driving back, and it was like, blink, lights come on, and tells me that the all-wheel drive's not working. And so Monday, I call Braking Alignment Plus, like, super early, like 7:45, because they open at 7:30. I figured give them a minute to get their stuff turned on, give them a call. And I was like, hey, can I bring the car in today? And it needs some work done. And they're like, well, what happened? I was like, well, I ran over a basketball. And they're like, huh? Like, they were kind of confused by it at first. Like, what? I told them this sensor things were coming on and telling me that this isn't working and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, we're busy today, but next Monday. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they called me back like an hour later and like, hey, we had some cancellations. We could probably squeeze you in today. I was like, all right. So I took it in, and Braking Alignment Plus is very cool. They'll give you a ride back home. So they give me a ride back to the office. And I waited. And then they called and they're like, it's going to cost X amount of dollars. I was like, ooh. Okay, well, fix the brakes too. Because the brakes have been making noises. So I, said, can you look at the brakes? And then they said something else was wrong too that they were going to, take a look at. And then they, gave me the price for all of it. And I was like, oh my God. But that's what we use to take people to treatment. Mm-hmm. We need that to be tip top.
Yeah.
And I trust Braking Alignment Plus. They're telling me is that's what we need. So I was like, well, oh, did you hear that? Mm-hmm. It was like that, like my coffee coming back up. Because like it did happen when I was like speaking. That was weird. I'm sorry. My apologies for my body. That's my pancreas talking. Mm-hmm. But so they end up halving it. Like with the price that they told me, they ended up like saying, hey, we'll eat that half of that, as donation, because we know that what you do in taking people to and from treatment is very critical, very crucial, part of the treatment process. And not everybody has a ride. Mm-hmm. Not everybody needs a ride to treatment, but the people that do, they really need it. There's no other way for them to get there. And we've done over 250 rides, and those are people that would not have gone to treatment, would not have gone home. Like there's no way that they had to get home safe. So yeah. That's pretty awesome. And they'll tell us, everybody, oh, yeah, that's great. You can show us. There's a donation button on 217recovery.com. But that was really cool of them to do that, to kind of split the cost with us. And Brick Alignment Plus, man, they really do support the recovery community. When I go in there and I talk to them, that they always they talk about recovery, not because they feel like, oh, let's get this guy talking about something he knows or that he's talking about, like they really have questions, and it's a really cool atmosphere in there, and they do great work. So if you're in Traverse City area, you need an oil change, you need your car serviced at all, you might have to make an appointment. Oh, I don't make appointments for oil changes. I just drive through the thing. Okay, well, you're paying $30 to $40 more than what you could if you just go to Break Alignment Plus and actually have it scheduled. I'm just saying that.
They are so nice.
They really are. We gave them a plaque.
So nice. Yeah.
That says, thanks for supporting the recovery community. Mm-hmm. And Mike, the manager there, he's really cool, man. Like, it's a good place. So if you're looking for a place that's honest to do good stuff with your car, Breaking Alignment Plus, in Traverse City, give them a shout. And that nobody's paying me to say that. I'm just telling you, like, there was no like, hey, hook us up, we'll talk about you on the podcast. I don't even think they listen to the podcast.
No.
But it's just one of those things that I do appreciate, and they really are good people and do good work. So
yeah. Yep.
Just throwing that out there. So yeah. And so if I wouldn't have hit that basketball, like I told them, I was like, everything happens for a reason. I was like, Jesus wanted me to hit that basketball so I could come in here because you guys had some cancellations, and apparently you guys need some work today. Don't want people standing around. Don't want to send them home. Nope. All right. So tomorrow evening, probably you'll get a podcast from us, and we will go into more of our meeting and our story. It is odd that, well, not odd, but when two people in recovery kind of meet up, usually it doesn't end well. That doesn't have to be the case. There are a lot of people that are in recovery that are married or dating someone who's not in recovery. That happens all the time too. Mm-hmm. But it just so happened Marney and I both are in recovery. We work in recovery, and it's working out, So we'll share more of that. I know people are kind of interested, so we'll also reveal our fantasy football teams.
All right.
Our predictions for the league.
Okay.
So, thanks for listening, and have a great Friday.
Have a wonderful Friday, guys.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.